Okay, what I've done is I pre-glued the insides of each one of these holes. I have my little credit card bins right in here to give us a good little nice even opening all the way across, and just make sure you have good deflection. You may pull it back a little bit, you may want to open it a little more, and look and see if whatever you're happy with, just make sure it stays in there. Got this one card pulling up right here, but just to give us a good idea of what our gap opening is that we want in there, and you want to be able to have your deflection all the way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull these cards out of here. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side in just a minute, but what I want to do is I'll make sure that I got this in here and I've got a good deflection angle all the way up. Push it in, pull it back down, look and see where you're at. Looks even all the way across. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a piece of tape. I'm going to tape it so this elevator stays like I want it. Okay, one more push in. We went down all the way, up all the way. See what we have in our gap. Looks pretty good. Nice and tight. Make sure you're even back up over here on the upper edge. Right here. See, nice and even straight across. Got a good gap right in through here. So I'm happy with my gap. I'm going to put a piece of tape right here to keep it from moving. And then I'm going to go around. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And then we'll come back and we'll start hooking up the linkage once the glue dries. Okay, we got both sides done now. And one thing I failed to mention is that before I put these together on each one of these, they're packed at the hinge point with Vaseline so that the glue doesn't stick into the hinge itself. And so we've got a good even opening all the way across, matching up to the point leading edge here. So everything looks nice and even all the way down the gap to the end here, and we'll just wait for this all to set up and then we'll come on back. Okay, since we got the elevators all glued in, we're going to start on our wings now. And what I've done is each one of these pins, hinge pin, see if I can bring it in here. See if I can get a close-up of it without it. Come on, glue. Anyway, you can see that it's just, I got it globbed in with Vaseline petroleum jelly there on the hinge part. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here first and come to each one of the hinge holes on the wing here, and I'm going to take my little sandwich skewer here, and I'll put a little glob of glue on it, and I'm going to take it and put it on the inside. Make sure you don't get it on yourself, and stick it inside there. Okay, just want to show you, got all the pins in the main portion of the wing, and the ailerons are all taped. And when I did my taping job, you can see I used two little pieces that are kind of long and then a little short piece to cover and to just make sure the hole has just a little bit of clearance in the opening, and did that on both of them. And then I come back every once in a while as you're setting up. You can see that the glue, let's see if it'll focus in here. Glue and the Vaseline are there. What it'll do is it'll make a little glob. But what I do is I come in and every once in a while, just making sure that the hinges aren't freezing up. And I come back, make sure they're going in just a vertical direction and not tight. And I do this about every 10 minutes. Okay, we're going to let all the glue set up, and then we're going to start putting in the ailerons, pre-gluing the holes, and then coming back on each hinge and putting a little dab on each one as we come up the wing, and then put those in, and then we'll start working on putting in our servo.